Ladies and gentlemen, meet the brand spanking new 2016 Kia Optima. No, hold on, sorry. I got that wrong. And honestly, if you look at the 2015 model, and of course, the brand spanking new 2016 model, well, you have to admit that the design is more evolutionary than revolutionary. And the reason for that is, this is Kia's most popular car. So, when it came time to design the car, Kia said, why should we mess with a good thing? Let's take the basic design of the car, refine it, and make it look like an Optima. And coming up next, that's right, we're gonna take it for a ride. So, which do you like better, the 2015 or the 2016? Yeah, they're both white and they're both very similar, but if you take a close look, you can tell the difference in the detail. For instance, new HID lights that actually turn as you turn the steering wheel. This grille is much more refined, it is much more elegant, it is much more, well, much more sporty. The best word to describe this car is refined. You know, when you have your best-selling vehicle and it's time to redesign it, you're not going to mess with success. So the changes are never going to be dramatic. They're always going to be evolutionary and not revolutionary, because when you sell 150,000 units annually in America, that is a lot of cars, and you don't want to rock the boat. So what you end up doing is you end up making a car that's very similar to the old car, but more refined. That's why I would use the word refined. The steering is more refined. The interior is more refined. The exterior design is more refined. You take what's good about the car, the things that have gotten people to buy it, and you make it that much better. Now under the hood, there are 3 different powertrain options. And of course, this is the top of the line. It's the 2-liter turbo that puts out, let me check my notes here, 245 horsepower and 260 pound-foot of torque. It is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, and this engine may seem familiar to you, and that's because it was in the outgoing model, except that they've detuned it. They've given it less power, but better fuel economy. I've just gotten back from, I'd say, an almost 150-mile loop, and the very first thing I can report is, over that course of that loop, we managed 31.9 mpg, which is very good for a big family-sized sedan. Now this Optima, of course, competes with other Asian cars that are bestsellers in the segment. And I'm talking about the Honda Accord, the Toyota Camry, and of course, the Hyundai Sonata. Where does it fall in the lineup? Well, I think it's kind of toward the sporty end of the spectrum. So, fuel economy, check. Kia has certainly improved that with the choice of engines. And the way they've done it is, quite frankly, by reducing the horsepower. There's less horsepower in this version of the turbocharged engine than there was in the previous version. It's a little bit less peaky. And quite frankly, there's mid-range torque and mid-range power right there, but there isn't that kind of upper punch that you would normally get with a turbo engine. So normally you've got this kind of tidal wave of power. Here, the power comes on, not too much turbo lag, but then it kind of slowly fades into the sunset. Now the numbers don't tell the entire story. The new 2016 model is a half an inch taller. It is 4/10 of an inch longer, and perhaps most importantly, it is an inch wider. But what that means in real life is that there's more legroom back here. And of course, Kia likes to provide a lot of value for your dollar. So everywhere you touch, there's this really beautiful, almost pillowy, quilted interior. Now, of course, you're not going to get that when you buy the base car, but for a mid-size sedan, this is about as luxurious as it gets. So I think they've given up a little bit of that peakiness in exchange for better fuel economy. They've also made this a really nice place to be. Everything in here feels like it belongs on an E-Class Mercedes. Well, almost everything. My biggest issue is right here where my knee touches the side. This right here, that's a little cheap, and it hurts my knee when I put my knee up against it. And some cars do that. And for me, actually, that's a deal breaker, because on a long trip, it just cuts into my knee. I don't know why that is designed that way. Maybe it's because I'm relatively tall, so my knee tends to stick out more. But yeah, it's not great. Plus, you don't want to hear that kind of hollow, empty sound. But for the most part, the steering wheel is thick, and of course, to emphasize that this is a sporty car, there is a flat bottom steering wheel now. There are two other engine choices. There's a 1.6 liter that puts out 178 horsepower and 195 pound-foot of torque, and that one's interesting. It's mated to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Finally, there's the base engine, and of course that one is not turbocharged. That's a 2.4 liter that puts out 185 horsepower and 178 pound-foot of torque. Now let's try a little bit of handling dynamics. Once again, not a lot of power. Keep in mind we're at 8,000, so it's going to be a little bit slower. 8,000 feet above sea level here in Aspen than it would be at sea level. Yeah, it's buttoned down, it's well dampened. I can tell what the wheels are doing. Is it particularly communicative? Do the wheels communicate everything? No, they don't. I mean, it's a family sedan at the end of the day, and it's meant to compete with cars like the Camry, the Accord, the Malibu, you know, the mid-sized cars in this market. So it's not a sports car, but it does not necessarily discourage you from driving fast. So on a scale of 1 being the sportiest, maybe a Mazda 6, Honda Accord Coupe, to 10 being the least sporty, I would say the Toyota Camry, this is probably about a 3 or a 4. So I hope that gives you a sense of kind of where this falls on the scale of how well the transmission and the engine and the suspension work together. The thing I'm not real happy about is this huge expanse of plastic above the dashboard. There is a lot of it there, but for the most part, it gives you a lot of value. There is about every electronic aid you could think of inside this car. Of course, this is the top of the line, $35,000 plus model. So I've got not only heated and ventilated seats, but I've got all sorts of safety tech, including blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, emergency braking. There's a new, first time in a Kia, Harman Kardon stereo in here that has 10 speakers and over 600 watts, so it does sound very good. And there's just a lot of safety tech, but let's face it, all the car companies are now adding a lot of safety technology to their cars because that's what consumers expect. The Kia Optima starts at about $23,000, which is the same as the outgoing model. The top-of-the-line model, that can go north of $35,000, and it will be at Kia dealerships this month. On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I've only driven the car for about an hour. It wouldn't be fair to you or Kia if I were to rank it, so we'll have to wait till we get it back in Boulder. But for now, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, brand new 2016 model reviews. See you next time. Ciao. Do you like brands making new 2016 car reviews? If so, all you have to do is click on me and we'll take you to a playlist with all of our 2016 models because they're coming fast and furious. And please, don't forget to click on subscribe so that we can get you the new car reviews first. Also, I want to thank Kia for letting me drive and review the 2016 model because without you, we wouldn't be behind the wheel of these brand new cars. Thanks for watching and please subscribe below.